Hey, everybody, and welcome to Frankenstein's podcast, where it's all about the monster. We discuss all kinds of fictional monsters, creatures, and beasts from the alien to the mythological and supernatural from all corners of pop culture. I am one of your hosts, Joe Praska.
And I'm your other host, Khalid Hussein.
How is it going today, Khalid?
Oh, it is a glorious day, Joe. Do you want to know why?
I do.
We have a new, shiny, brand new, nearly 80-year-old president.
Super shiny.
Yeah, he's gleaming right now. I mean, who knows? By the time this comes out, we might all already immediately be regretting this. But for the time being, we're having a great weekend, like probably the happiest weekend of 2020 by a mile. And it's been nice to witness. I'm still in Utah working, so I haven't been able to be with my fellow Los Angelinos and party. But you know, it's nice to just like surf the web and see the celebrations around the world.
I know. I mean, and you're right. Like it's probably not going to be great or perfect, but it's kind of nice to just have like a quick like sigh of relief just for a little bit, just like a little tiny bit, you know?
Yeah, it's like the Ewoks when they're like celebrating after the Death Star blows up for the second time. Like They all probably kind of understand that moon is going to crash into their planet and devastate them in like hours, if not minutes. So yeah, party, dance.
Yeah, just have a good time for a little bit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Have a luau.
Yeah. Well, you know what? So we're bringing in a guest for this episode today, Khalid. I'm going to transition a little bit, pivoting. We're bringing in a guest in this episode. I wanted to give you a little bit of background with my experience with this guest before we bring him in, Khalid. Is that okay?
You want to tell me about your background with this guest?
Yeah. Yeah, my background with your guest.
Got it.
Yeah. So I was at a comedy show in downtown Minneapolis a while back with friend of the podcast Ryan Mintz. We were watching a stand-up show, and it happened that the opener was none other than Mike Lester. And I listened to the stand-up set, and I was like, "That's the guy that Khalid knows." And I was really excited about that. And I went over to see him afterwards, and I was like, "Hey, you know Khalid? I know Khalid too." And he was like, "Okay." And it was easily one of the most awkward experiences I've ever had in my life. So with that in mind, welcome Mike Lester to the podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry about the awkward post-show meet and greet. I mean, a lot of people know Khalid, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm really easy to know. It's not even a brag. It's just, I'm just around.
Me and Khalid have just been like in the same orbit of each other for so long now that whenever anyone sees one of us, they bring up the other.
So you do stand-up comedy. Do you have any renown within that field?
What do you mean by that?
Like, have you had any accolades? Would any people recognize you from something?
I was in a picture on American Vandal. I have a short set on Amazon Prime under season 6 of Coming to the Stage. I play a bit part in the sitcom The Browns, which is, I believe, on the Out Network airing right now in Canada and Australia. So I'm making my way into the Australian and Canada markets. Not hearing much back yet, but right, it's about playing the long game.
And you also have a hit podcast.
Oh yeah, I would say it's a hit. Absolutely.
What's it called again?
It's I Love You, Mana. It's a podcast ostensibly about Magic the Gathering that I do with my buddies Zach Kagan and Tor Ugin. And there's 100+ episodes out there on all podcast platforms. And if you want to learn about Magic the Gathering and listen to me and Zach squabble for over the course of 2 years, I mean, it's great.
Cool.
I would definitely recommend it, or at least share it with someone. I would say share it with your parents. If you're out there listening, I think it's if your parents are like on the fence about getting into podcasts, it's like, why show them Joe Rogan when you could show them I Love You, Mana?
Are those the only two options, Joe Rogan or I Love You, Mana?
I would say so. If you're trying to get your parents in, come on.
Yeah, those are the big draws for parents.
Yes. I would say JRE or mine. Yes.
Got it.
Great points.
Or WTF.
Oh yeah, the what is it? The Normcore JRE.
Yes. Or what's that other one?
Oh, the other one.
Alex Jones does it. What's that one?
Now you're just like naming the like spectrum of like white guy podcasts.
No, I'm not. What's that one Alex Jones does?
I don't know the name of it. Is it like Manhunters or something?
That's the perfect Alex Jones podcast.
It's something stupid. It's like like Truth Wars. That's it.
Truth Wars is good too. I like that. I might have to start the Truth Wars podcast.
All right, I'll do Manhunters.
Okay. Well, now we got a network on. I like this. See, I knew. See, whenever I kind of get together with Khalid, we start brainstorming and like good stuff comes up, dude.
Yeah.
It's not always guaranteed to be good stuff.
Like this
Sometimes,
is good.
I mean, 9 out of 10 times.
Truth Hunters. This fucking golden podcast, dude.
All right. So Truth Hunter is coming to a podcast network near you.
All right. Well, that being said, Mike, this is a monster podcast.
Yes.
With that being said, what is your favorite, and if it is not the same, the scariest monster in pop culture for you?
I would say my favorite monster, as far as like the movie genre, would have to be the Leprechaun.
Ooh, great choice.
Remember him, Warwick Davis, right? You know,
right.
And he was running around, and like I remember the first one, right, was about like this hillbilly found like his shoe buckle, right, and Warwick like found his shoe buckle again and slashed his face up. And then the scariest monster in pop culture right now. I mean, there's a lot to pick from, real life and fictional. That's a hard one. I don't know about scary. I guess Annabelle, you know?
Huh. The doll?
You just, you know, yeah, you get that doll in your house and bad stuff happens. It's like, you know, a swift kill from like a Jason or Freddy Krueger. Okay, but I don't want the long, you know, like 6 months in, I'm seeing a psychologist and she's like, well, have you ever thought about that doll in your house? And I'm like, well, I got it at a swap meet and yeah, I get a little skeeved out around it. I got to tell you, Dr. Imaginary, you know, I get skeeved out around this doll, but it was like such a good deal. This is like Annabelle 7 if I were to star in it. And I'm like, yeah.
This sounds like, a character like Dr. Imaginary usually shows up around the 7th installment.
Yeah, Dr. Imaginary. You know, Khalid, it's the doctor I get after getting this doll after like a month of being a little skeeved out around it. But yeah, so scariest Annabelle, favorite, it's got to be Leprechaun, Warwick Davis, not Dylan Postel, who was in the much later movie when they tried to remake it.
Oof, yeah, you can't beat Warwick Davis.
No, nothing beats Warwick, especially when he's like, I'm getting me shillin'. You know, like something about the way he said shillin', I was drawn in as a child.
You're just sold right there.
I was like, someday it's 6 movies, Khalid. One of them features it's Leprechaun Back to the Hood, okay, and it features Method Man and Redman.
Of course it does.
Have you ever seen that one, Joe?
I have not. There's a space one I've seen though.
Oh, that's a good one. I like the Vegas one too, where he bites a guy and the guy slowly becomes a leprechaun. And there is this scene in that Vegas one.
Wait, is that how you become a leprechaun? You got to get bit?
You got to get bit. It's much like a werewolf, apparently.
All right, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, this is that movie's lore. You know, this is that franchise's lore. But he bit this guy in Vegas, and next scene, the guy's eating. You know, he's eating all the potatoes. You know, which I don't know how that would hold up today. Like if you were pitching that to a studio, like the guy's going to show like he's turning Irish by like eating all these potatoes, and his voice. You know, he starts doing a voice that isn't like his normal voice.
Yeah, kind of like what is it, Mike Myers. I was gonna say Mark Myers, like when Mike Myers does the Scottish voice for Shrek and Fat Bastard.
Yeah, I would say like, is this like if I were to go
problematic?
If I were to go to Scotland, is this what I'd be hearing? I don't know.
That's all I'll ever hear now. I've never even been, but if they don't sound like Shrek, it's going to be jarring.
Well, I would say when the borders open, that's the first live show for your guys' podcast.
Great idea. If we ever do Leprechaun, we'll have to have you back on, or we'll just take this cut this out of this episode and just make it a Leprechaun episode.
Sure, absolutely. If whatever you guys want to talk about. Going back to it, it's like it's either Annabelle or it's like, the Ring girl. I don't know if she ever technically had a name, but I remember when the Ring came out.
Samara.
And I was like jumping behind the couch. I was like, what's with that girl's hair? Right? I was like, what's she? Oh, she's coming out of the TV. And I remember I was in like 6th grade. I would jump behind the couch shrieking.
Oh, that movie was terrifying. It was like the first horror movie that like hit me as like a teenager.
Yeah, exactly. It like moved me in my soul to where like, I don't think I'm going to keep doing good in school.
That's what did it.
Well, next question, last question, I guess we only have 2, is just quick rundown. What are you geeky about? What's your passions?
Listen, I love professional wrestling. I've been obsessed with that since I was a young child. I'll watch that. I'll watch any of that at any time. Magic the Gathering. I know I joked about a little earlier. I love paper magic. What am I obsessed about? Like I've been a big fan of marijuana. I would say for about 14 years. Going on. That's been a consistent in my life for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm a man of simple taste. It's just wrestling and pot over here.
I've never heard anyone say they're nerdy about pot.
Love it. I love looking up strains on Leafly. Huh. And I'll actually do cross stitchings onto pillows of like strains I like.
I can't tell if this is a bit or not.
No, I'll have to send you a thumbnail of it.
I think it's not.
I'll have to send you a thumbnail of it for the pit episode.
Awesome.
Khalid, what are we talking about today?
Thanks for asking, Joe. Today we're talking about the 1984 sci-fi horror movie C.H.U.D, directed by Douglas Cheek. And we're going to do a little synopsis brought to us by our homeboy Google, which goes a little something like this. Photographer George Cooper is documenting the lives of subterranean homeless people, a population that has mysteriously dwindled. After receiving information from a reporter, George becomes aware of a conspiracy theory about cannibalistic monsters lurking in the sewers. He teams up with the reporter, a policeman, and a priest to fight 2 battles, one against the cannibals and the other against a corrupt government official.
What a monster!
They're creatures of the abstract that live off potential energy.
It's alive! I'll say this right off the bat, right? Like, this photographer, to me, George Cooper, I would say from the first frame he's in, he's incredibly likable.
I was going to say the exact opposite.
Wow. What makes you say that, Khalid?
All right. I guess we're just going into our thoughts, Joe. Should we just do that?
No, I would. The first thing I was going to say was initial thoughts, everybody. So, yeah.
I would say he's incredibly likable. He's a entrepreneur that knows what he wants. He's willing to work within any sort of parameters. He's
absolutely not.
For first scene you see him in, his girlfriend's like, I gotta airbrush this pimple on my ass, and he's like, okay, cool, I'll work with you today. And then he gets a phone call, and he's like, no, I'm working with her today. And so that shows you a balance, right, in like his scheduled life versus his work life.
Yeah, and then he immediately has a tantrum on the set where literally nobody's done anything to him.
Yeah, but he also exclaims out loud that he loves the medium. He shouts that. To me, it's like if I'm on set with someone that's shouting that they love the particular thing they're doing, it's like that's a vote of confidence.
Okay, but like if, for example, you're a comic, if you got up on stage and like loudly berated the audience and then just shouted, I love comedy, that doesn't like make you a better comedian.
I mean, it depends on the crowd. And I would say like if you do it in front of the right crowd, it might stir them into a frenzy. which is an experiment I've tried, more than a few times. I'm sure the set Joe saw of me that night, I shouted, "I love comedy."
I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, see? It's good stuff.
Yeah. Who remembers what C.H.U.D stands for?
Cannibalistic, humanoid, underground dweller.
Yeah.
Yep.
And spoiler, we find out later it actually stands for contamination hazard urban disposal. So it has a dual meaning.
Which is hilarious because it's like, why did you have to keep the same acronym even? Was it just in case somebody came across the containers?
You totally could have changed it. Maybe.
This is the type of movie that it's like, if it were given a little more in the budget of advertising, it could have easily inserted itself into the cultural zeitgeist. Like, Joe, you would have got a C.H.U.D beanie, right?
I probably would have, yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
like Khalid. You would have got C.H.U.D pajama pants.
Absolutely. Is it where it says like CH on one cheek and then UD on the other?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd get that.
I don't know though, guys. I really like this photographer. At first I thought he was the uncle from Full House.
Close,
but
kinda. He's
yeah,
a parent or like adult figure from something.
yeah, I think he was like a stunt double for him.
I don't
For
think
all
they
the-
had
Full House?
For when because there's this Full House scene actually, Joe. I'm surprised you don't know this. It's one of the earlier seasons. It's like season 3 where they all dive out of the house because someone set off a bomb.
Huh. What?
And actually, this guy from C.H.U.D was the stunt double of the feathery-haired slacker uncle in the bomb explosion
Wow.
in Full House. Yeah,
Well, now we know that.
I mean it's part of the lore, dude.
It's part of the lore, yeah.
So Joe, what did
Yes.
you think of the movie? Photographer aside, like the rest of the characters in the plot, what did you think of it?
Oh, I have a lot of thoughts on the rest of the characters.
I am
I have
sure
a
we will
lot-
get to them.
I have
I
a
am sure we will.
lot of thoughts on the rest of the characters.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing.
Oh, absolutely.
I actually I wavered on it when I was watching it, but I ended up really liking it overall. I think it's what I like about it is how it teeters on that edge of schlocky B movie and almost trying to make a point kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a very on the nose like indictment of that sort of like Reagan era, like mismanagement. So like the government is untrustworthy, homelessness is rampant, urban decay is just like everywhere. People in poverty are just like forgotten afterthoughts who get murdered a ton, and the police only care once like his wife is one of them. So like it just seems like it's like a perfect like picture of that era. In that one case, like there are plenty of other issues like it didn't touch on, like there's countless other social issues they could have went with, but in that case, like it's interesting that it's doing that, but it's not going like super deep. It's like a very on the nose thing. Like it's like, oh yeah, the government just put radioactive sludge in the sewer of New York City and made monsters out of homeless people. So I think it's a really cool. It strikes that balance really well, and I really enjoyed that piece. There's a lot of problems with it that I could name, but for what it is and what it's kind of trying to do, I think it nailed it.
I'll say the least believable part of this movie was that the cop would live in the town that he's policing.
Yeah.
That really surprised me. I was like, that, not in a major city. You're not living in a bad neighborhood as a cop.
Although the movie I think the movie knew that though, because they made it like a reveal. Like he's like, you live here, and he's like, yeah, I live like a couple blocks down, and they're like, whoa, like, so they make a point to make that feel weird.
Why wouldn't you at least tell your wife not to go out like alone or at night or something if you had 2 weeks of disappearances in that exact neighborhood?
I don't know. I feel like, honestly, like this was happening at first to a lot of quote unquote sewer people, right? So it's like, it's not gonna happen to me. I got a cushy job. I got a 2-story house.
That's fascinating, actually, because it is like this weird, like rationalization that somebody
It's
can
like an
have.
economics thing. It's like, oh, we live 2 blocks from it. It would never happen to us until it does. It's like it's not real until it happens to you. I feel like the movie echoes that a lot. I feel like to
That's
me,
true.
it was like the pacing and rhythm of it, especially the dialogue and just like with the character work. To me, it reminded me of like Bong Joon Ho's The Host.
Huh.
Ooh.
Just how it's like, through the government slacking and abusing their power, they created this huge problem that, is eventually almost solved by the citizens.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it
Actually,
basically is.
that's a really good point. That's a good. I was actually thinking it reminded me a lot of Ghostbusters 2, which
Yeah,
also
I
had
mean,
like villainous EPA
listen,
agent.
yes, I mean the Ghostbusters 2 is like, I mean, it's so embedded in the zeitgeist when people think like, what movies really made a point, and it's like it's Ghostbusters
It's
2, dude.
Ghostbusters 2, yeah.
It's absolutely I mean, if that's
The
not on,
EPA was not wrong to ask them to have any kind of regulation, though. They carry nuclear reactors on their backs.
Actually,
you think
EPA guy
especially,
was
yeah,
Ghostbusters 1, right? I was wrong about that. My bad. 2 was subterranean, so it's like both of them combined.
subterranean. It's like,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing with C.H.U.D. They're underground. Here comes one of the wet bandits, and he's working with a cop, and the guy's like, this movie's gonna pay for that new tooth in the front of yours, and the wet bandit's like, yeah,
Well,
I'll
you're
crawl
getting them.
through
You're
mud.
getting them mixed up now. Like that was Harry that had the gold tooth. Marv, who's in this movie, did not have a gold tooth.
Well, I am just saying in general because that guy's grill is insanely different from C.H.U.D. As someone that's struggled kind of with my dental area, right? It's like that's something I always look for initially. That's what I loved about this movie so much as well. It's like the amount of character actors. Like, can you imagine like what Hollywood was like when C.H.U.D was casting? It's like every character actor that either like lived in the valley, like renting a room, mattress on the floor. It's like C.H.U.D comes out and they're like real looking, amidst it's like what else was fucking casting in this time? It was like fucking beach action movies. There's
It's a
no
beach
room,
action movie. Do we have an
you know,
example?
like what was that one beach action? They're all there. It's
Oh,
just a
that
lot of
one. Okay, I'm sorry I
oh,
asked. I know
yeah,
what you're talking
yeah.
about.
A whole bunch of them, Khalid.
It's a lot of beach
That
action
was my
movies.
bad.
Like if I had to describe Hollywood in the early '80s, it would be beach action movies and C.H.U.D. From what I was looking at earlier.
I was gonna ask you to describe Hollywood in the early '80s, so thank you for just cutting to the chase.
I mean, I feel like I nailed it.
For listeners confused, where the actors in this movie is John Hurd and Daniel Stern, who were both also in Home Alone, the dad and the not Joe Pesci villain.
Yeah. Yeah, and John Hughes, he watched this movie one night. He was drunk, okay, and he had just cast Catherine O'Hara and Macaulay, and he's like, "What the
Queen
fuck?"
and the Prince.
The Queen and the Prince, right? He's like, "I got my Queen and I got my Prince," and he's like 3 drafts into Home Alone. He's shitting his pants, okay, because Paramount's gonna drop his ass. All right. Paramount's going to drop him because he's like, I'm going to do a booby trap movie with a kid. And they're like, what are you talking about, John? We don't know about this. You better have something concrete. And he watched C.H.U.D and he's like, here are the missing pieces. Like how when Thanos has the Infinity Gauntlet, right? And he's like, I need one last, what were those? Beads?
Yeah,
right?
the Infinity Beads.
Yeah, he had beads for his glove. Okay? And I would say these 2 guys in C.H.U.D were the last 2 of the beads.
Well, I don't think anybody would agree with you that the dad and the secondary villain.
I mean, listen, you don't
were
have
the
to agree
missing
with me.
pieces.
You don't. They're technically pieces.
That's true, but like it's.
And at one point,
like if it was a puzzle, they would be like the middle pieces. Where if you got everything else put together, you can at least kind of see what they're going for, even if you don't have those pieces.
Marv was definitely like an edge piece.
Okay, Marv, sure. The dad, nothing. And I have to say, just respectfully, I know you love the photographer in this. I hated him, and it was nice that this movie at least kind of splits the time between the three guys as like the leads respectfully.
Yes.
So you don't have to like. I thought we were going to be stuck with this guy, and I was ready to hate the movie. And then when
it's
instead of
nice.
pivoting,
It's simple. It's 3 tracks of investigation that come together pretty well at the end. And you just have to give it to that photographer. I mean, Khalid, you and I, we've been in the gig economy, right? It's like that guy was working the whole movie.
Okay, I mean the capitalist underdog of it aside, I didn't think he worked for the narrative.
That guy was well, I mean, like in a professional sense.
Okay, professionally, yes, he did work on screen. I gotta give him that.
He was working the whole time, dude.
He was working. I don't know why you think that's a point. I'm saying he was not an entertaining character.
I think it's a reason to like him. I admire the work ethic.
Photographer aside, Khalid, what did you think of the movie otherwise?
Okay, so I actually liked it, but I don't know if I liked that they really tried to hit home the realistic side of this more than the crazy gonzo sci-fi, like there are underground mole people monsters attacking, because I thought that's what we were getting. I thought it was going to be a bunch of like scenes of people walking through tunnels getting like slaughtered, and it's actually just about like how bureaucracy will get us all killed, which
I like it.
Coming on like I don't even know, like the second quarter of this basketball game we call COVID versus humanity. I don't know that I wanted to watch a government just like fumble an arguably easy problem to address.
Here's what, like, I like that for its time in the early 80s, I would say like this like horror movie, monster movie, whatever you want to call it, you know, it had like a very slow build where it's like cold open, you kind of see the thing, and it snatches the lady and her dog. And you really don't get payoff for the dog till like halfway through the movie. Like
that is a violent reveal too. They didn't even eat the dog; they hung him, which
it's like a puppet. I was like, "Is that a puppet of the dog they ate in the cold oven?" And I'm like, "Man, that's a payoff."
I saw that, and I'm surprised you like that. I thought you were gonna like text me and be like, "Why would you make me watch this movie where dogs get murdered?"
No, I like the dog murder, and I like the fact that it's like I'm thinking. I appreciate the dog murder because they used it tastefully, right? It's like they used it in the beginning, and you're like, "Oh, this is senseless," but then it pays off in the middle, and you're like, "Oh, okay, they followed up on that." And it's
so that's what makes it tasteful.
Yes, exactly. It's like as long as you follow up on something, it can be tasteful.
I don't think that's what that means.
What do you mean? What does what mean?
I don't think that following up on something changes whether or not it's tasteful. Like if I just like pants you in a restaurant and then like later on be like, remember when I pants you in the restaurant or something? Like that doesn't
I would say that's
contextualize how tasteless it was.
I would say that's a bad example for you and I's friendship, because I would think you pantsing me and then bringing it up later would be quite funny.
Okay, I guess I stand corrected.
And a great payoff. But no, what I'm really getting at is it's like I like the slow burn of the movie. You know, it's like a lot of character work and exposition. So when the big showdown happens, you care a lot about the characters that are in peril. Whereas most scary movies nowadays, it's like there's little to no exposition. You don't really care whether they live or die. You care more about the monster, or that's at least my opinion.
It's a good point. I actually kind of with you, Mike. I kind of liked that. Like I was expecting it to be more, like Khalid said, like just monsters attacking people in the sewers, and I kind of liked that there was more to it because it surprised me a little bit, given the title. Also, like I was like, what am I going to expect from C.H.U.D? But I liked it. I thought that was cool. I have a question for you guys though. So I watched this yesterday with Nikki, and I watched it together, and we were discussing it a little bit, and she had pointed out that it was a movie that was kind of about these like people, like homeless, like underground people. Basically, they called them the underground people, didn't they?
Yeah.
The undergrounders or something.
They call them like undergrounders. Yeah.
It's weird because they're actually like a subsection of a disenfranchised group. Where it's like you have the unhoused or the homeless, and then you have people below them that are the victims, which is like at that point, it's not surprising the cops wouldn't care.
Yeah, Undergrounders reminded me a lot of my dad.
Oh,
Just kind of like, you know, what he has gone through as an individual, and like kind of I would feel like my dad would like it, you know.
You think he'd like sewer life?
He would. I think Joe Lester would like sewer life, dude. It's just like something about it. I feel like he does not like wearing shoes. He does not like being sunburned. You don't really have to worry about that. He's very buoyant. You know, he's very buoyant. So it's like if the sewer floods, it's like he's probably going to be okay.
Okay. Just I gotta refute at one point. If there's any place you would want to wear shoes, it's probably the sewer.
I don't think he would. I would think you would want your feet exposed as soon as possible so they could like adapt and evolve.
You're gonna get an infection.
Or you're gonna get flipper feet.
huh?
I don't think that's how that works.
Or become a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, my question, it seemed like, so the movie was like about those guys, but there was nobody like the story, like there's no like person within that community who was like a central character. Do you guys think it would have been more interesting if like we had another weaving story following somebody in the sewer, maybe somebody who was like slowly becoming a chud or something? Do you think that would have added an interesting element to this movie?
I feel like you could almost use that as its own movie.
That's true. Like
You know,
a side, like a spin-off or a sidequel or something.
Yeah, it's like Jurassic Park, right? It's like you do the initial movie, and then the next movie you have some of the same players in it telling a new story, but in a way the same story.
I would say repurpose the photographer's plotline and make him the one that turns into a chud.
No, I wouldn't do that. I would say he's on a very good streak of like getting gigs, so I wouldn't disrupt him.
Khalid, you keep bringing the photographer back into this.
I don't mean to, but I just
I feel like
dude,
he's a step from glory from getting hired by like what's that, Getty, you know?
Oh yeah.
For me, it's like I think that would have made his plot line a little bit more interesting, where it's like maybe he's the guy that started all this investigative work, not even knowing what he was uncovering. And then he gets bit and disappears. And then Bosch and Reverend are like spend the rest of the time using his clues and stuff and eventually find him going like full on District 9 and turning into the monster.
Yeah. For a second, I was going to say like, oh, that'd be so ahead of its time. But then I thought about like Universal Studios, The Wolfman. And I'm like, this is like one of the oldest, trope
ideas, yeah.
But like seeing that enacted out in this universe, I feel like maybe they did miss maybe that's what led to the movie kind of flopping, is they were missing kind of that more grounded monster through line.
That would have been cool. I think that would have been cool. I do think it would have be kind of cool to see more like the homeless people were I feel like they were like one note characters, so it would have been kind of cool to see more like dynamic, I don't know, character work there. But there is actually a sequel to this. It's called C.H.U.D 2 Bud the Chud.
Well, there you go. I mean, this is next up.
It has virtually nothing to do with this movie, but it features the government trying to make super soldiers from Chuds, but then shutting it down, and then a group of teens steal the last super soldier, which is named Bud the Chud.
Yeah.
And I think it might be a road trip movie. I don't know. I really don't know.
I love that. I love
amazing.
Yeah, I love that. I just imagine like the movie Tommy Boy, except David Spade is a underground humanoid cannibal.
So not even the Chris Farley character. It's basically
it's a straight guy.
It's a chud, and the chud is the straight man in the gang.
The straight guy's trying to eat him, and Chris Farley's like, "Holy shnikes, he's doing that arm, shnikes!" And then he like falls through a table when he walks in on the chud, like eating a fucking bellhop. When they're on the road, he's like, "Oh shnikes!" and he like falls through the table. Like, to me, that's good. That was one of Chris Farley's trademarks.
was reacting to chuds?
When he would panic and fall through a table. I'm having fun, guys.
This is great.
This is just so much fun.
Okay, so this I will say that the part that like for the most part, the movie went exactly like I thought it would, especially even with like course correcting and figuring out it was going to be way more about like the follies of bureaucracy. The only thing that really took me by surprise was John Goodman appearing in a next to nothing role and just killing it, being so memorable.
Oh, did you? Which one did you watch? The theatrical or the integral cut?
Whichever one is free on Amazon Prime.
So when did that scene take place? Was it the very end or in the middle?
Kind of near the end.
But it was before the climax?
Yes.
Okay, then that's...
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess in the theatrical cut, that scene was like at the very end for some reason to be like, oh, we're leave us hanging with the Chud coming out and about to kill John Goodman. But they put the original intent. The original intent, at least from what I've read, was that for that to be, showing that the Chuds are coming out to set up the climax. So yeah,
that plays so differently then.
Yeah.
That's interesting too, because this is a time, the early 80s, where it's like, was John Goodman even close to his initial like shoot to the come up?
He must have done at least one Coen Brothers movie by then, right? Like he looks about that age for like Raising Arizona and stuff.
It says
the early 80s?
It says I have a booklet. I have the Blu-ray of this, by the way, from Arrow. And there's a booklet in there with a bunch of essays, and it says future comedy stars John Goodman and Jay Thomas play a couple of cops who also lose their lives in the dinner massacre. So future, I think they weren't really known then.
I think John Goodman,
timing-wise, you're right.
Yeah, if I had to sum up John Goodman's career too, I would say comedy. Like I would say,
well, he's like Stephen Root in that way, where you could say he's a comedy actor and not technically be right based on how many like comedy credits he has.
I feel like we talked a little bit earlier about Tommy Boy, and kind of Chris Farley's trajectory, and I feel like John Goodman, it's like, I don't know where he was in the late 90s or what he was doing, but he could have just assumed that role.
He could have,
when Chris kind of got out of the business.
It was between that and Fred Flintstone, and he does not regret. He does not regret the movie he picked.
Like, he's looking at the script, Shrek or Fred Flintstone,
and he was like, "I know what I'm doing."
I had an interesting thing I found though before we transition to the monster though. Did you know that this is the same year that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first came out too? Like other subterranean toxic waste like shenanigans?
Do you think that's what buried it?
I don't know. It was the first comic appearance, so I don't know if the comics were huge at the time, but
I don't think they were huge.
Do you think that could be a crossover? TMNT versus C.H.U.D?
Absolutely. C.H.U.D versus TMNT. It's like, take my money right now.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I love that. I love a good, maybe the photographer starts dating the lady from TMNT.
It's hard to say.
April O'Neil.
April O'Neil, yes. And he's like, I got a lot of gigs going. I've been working pretty steady.
My man's Casey's gonna come in and smack his head off with a hockey stick.
No, because the photographer guy's like, come on, sure, I'm not athletic. I'm not really. I kind of look like the stunt double of the Full House uncle. Okay, but it's like
I don't think he's ever described himself like that.
I can give you a better life than these fucking karate frogs.
I'd watch a show called Karate Frogs. You're not really. You're not really like making them sound bad.
Karate Frogs and Truth Hunters, I feel like, is a Travel Channel block of shows.
Oh man, I can't wait for that crossover.
I like it.
Oh, before we move on though, I do want to say that the plan to just fill the sewers up with gas was also kind of dumb. Just because, wasn't it like we're gonna send men down with flamethrowers and then also gas them out? Wasn't that the plan?
The flamethrowers was first, and then the gas was decided, right?
I guess, but that's still at least like a few like charred, recently burned carcasses. And
and the flamethrowers were left down there too. That's right. They were still there. Yeah, that's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea. Especially because guns work.
If you're working for the government and you need a place to put the gas, it's like, why not double down on the sewers you're already torching?
I guess, but no,
No, you gotta
that's exactly why not to.
you
Because
gotta
they're the
make the
sewers that you're
problem.
torching.
No, you got to make the problem really go away. Like imagine working under the foreman for this project. And you're like, well, where the fuck else? I can't just like pretend to put the gas down there.
I don't know. I feel like if guns work, just do the guns thing. And at that point, like, you had an entire diner full of people get slaughtered. So it's not like you're trying to keep it a secret anymore.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, let's talk about this monster, the chud in question.
The C.H.U.D in question. All right. Well, I have some things prepared for this. So the C.H.U.Ds are humans that were mutated by radioactive waste dumped in the sewers they called home, turning them into flesh-eating monsters that consume homeless people and then make them basically one with them in a sense, or they become more C.H.U.Ds. But effectively, they're mutated humans with slimy brown skin and glowing yellow eyes. And they kind of have like weird, like piranha-like mouths. So if you haven't seen the movie and you're wondering what they look like, that's kind of what they look like. The interesting stuff, or at least the interesting stuff to me, is the makeup and special effects were done by a guy named John Caglione Jr., who also did the effects for Basket Case and Poltergeist 3. So interesting resume there. But short production time, low budget. He wasn't able to make a full body suit, so he basically made a mask and arms. So if you see the people walking, you see like it's just normal torso with a big mask and like really bulky arms. Despite that, they were still super hot. And I was actually watching an interview with him on the Blu-ray, and he said that they had to like have oxygen on set because it was like a super heat wave in New York City, and people would pass out. Yeah, so it was pretty miserable experience being a C.H.U.D in the movie.
I would say just from watching the movie, it's like being any actor in that movie. It's like you're just crawling around in the sewers.
Yeah, I mean and it was legit in the sewers. Like I think they actually filmed in under in the sewers. Yeah, it wasn't like sets.
That sounds disgusting. Like especially when you think about how long in an average day you would spend on a set, like something like 18 hours in a sewer.
The Home Alone guy is spending like 18 hours a day just like covered in whatever.
Which Home Alone guy? We've established
there's two of them.
The wet bandit.
Okay.
The guy that's really spends the most time in the deep shit.
Yeah,
you're trudging along trying to remember a monologue. You're probably making scale. It's like any job. Any job on this, like more power to them. Like I applaud anyone that was a part of making this movie that had to be down there.
Yeah, they did. They deserve the credit for it. I'm with you on that. I think that my favorite part of the creatures was like the glowing yellow eyes. It kind of reminded me of the glowing mouths of Attack the Block.
Oh yeah. Well, that was like the most like supernatural aspect of them. Other than that, they just look like deformed people.
Yeah, I can't take full credit for that. Nikki actually pointed that out too, like when we're watching it, and I was like, that is a great connection. And I thought about that the whole time. But I have some cool facts about that. Apparently, the glowing eyes was a trick that involved coating the creature's eyes with Scotch-Light reflective material and fixing a beam splitter to the camera. So when light was directed onto the beam splitter, it would then reflect on the creature's eyes and give that bright light up effect. I thought that was cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah, it's just I feel like it shows like in the 80s especially how they had to be like really creative in figuring out how to make these things work because they didn't have a lot of just like regular tech at their disposal.
Right, you couldn't just be like some nerd in Burbank is going to digitize this later.
Yeah,
and especially probably for the budget too, right? They were like, we have to get creative.
Yeah, it was super low budget.
Like if the guy's turnaround, he couldn't even make a full bodysuit. It's like it's a fucking miracle he was able to figure out those eyes.
Right. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. And actually, one of my favorite scenes in the movie was the part when the C.H.U.D was in I think the character's name was Lauren's apartment, and the neck extends for some reason. That's weird, but I like that she has a sword and cuts its head off. But the blood, the special effects guy said in the interview that the blood was made from just the goo that's inside of glow sticks.
I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like every day, like they were just like, "How are we going to do this?"
Yeah, you just got to make it cool somehow.
Yep.
Scrappy is a good way to put it.
Got to be scrappy. It's how they wrote Tommy Boy.
He also said that the guy also said that he originally designed the creatures to look more human and just slightly mutated, but the director wanted them to be more monstery.
Yeah.
I like the
That's a
monster.
good
I like it more
call.
monstery. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they
I'm a
had
fan of
that one guy. Because like that's the thing is like at a certain point, I can't remember his name anymore, but it was the bag lady's brother, Victor or something maybe.
I thought it was
When he
Hugo.
gets Hugo, I don't know. It was one
Victor
of those
Hugo.
kinds of names. Exactly.
Yeah.
So he gets bit in the leg or whatever, and you later find out, kind of like Leprechaun, if you get bit, you become the thing. So he starts to become the thing, which that was surprising because I didn't even question why his protector guy and his sister were like mauled, and then when I realized like, oh, he did it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
And
sad actually.
that through line in and of itself, it's like you could interpret it as sad, or you could like interpret it as inspirational in the sense that it's like you shouldn't let things bite you.
Inspirational, huh?
Yeah, you should be inspired to avoid getting bitten.
But yeah, I bring him up because I was trying to say like when he got shot by the photographer, everyone's favorite character, I felt really bad, and a lot of that had to do with like he still looked mostly human, and it wasn't
Yeah.
even like it's not like a zombie one either, where it's like, oh, you
Shit.
can tell that the lights checked out. He just looked like a human with like
He didn't even try to reverse it or question whether or not it's reversible. I guess at that point.
To me,
he just
to me, it's a missed opportunity too. Like to me, it would have like you would have sympathized more for the monsters by making them look more human throughout. To it's like harkening back to what Joe said about the director wanting them to look more monstrous. I feel like that was a missed opportunity.
You think it should have looked more human?
Yeah, I mean, you sympathize. I feel like you sympathize more. Like you just said, so it's like the guy. I sympathize more with him getting shot because
I sympathize, but I didn't enjoy it. Like, if anything, like it was like painful, and I don't want that for my sewer monster movie.
That's what I'm saying. But I don't know. It's just like isn't.
I think the movie was trying to be more serious and like more of a commentary instead of a schlocky B movie. Like they would have made it. They would have stuck with being more human. But I think what making it the monstery, like be more monstery, is what made it kind of just special and not necessarily just another zombie movie, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I was more of a fan of the schlocky B movie stuff the more we discuss it.
I think I am too overall. I think I'm more on the monster side. Sorry, Mike.
It's just the commentary is like kind of uninteresting. I mean, it makes sense and it's very believable if you ask me. If there's like a thing that is murdering people underground and you know for a fact that that's happening as a government official, I 100% do not trust that you will tell anybody. I think that you will want to avoid a public panic and you will want to avoid taking blame for it, and the problem will get worse that way. I believe that in our elected officials.
And it's almost every 80s monster movie too is always like, I mean, it's Reagan era too, so it's evil government cover up always. Like so like that's just that baked into 80s monster movies. I mean, not every, but
in that sense, it was like a little ahead of its time too. It didn't really like fit the time period in that sense. You go in expecting one thing and you get more of a social commentary piece, which I don't think that movie, even an advertisement, probably promised at all. Kind of made it more of a flop.
That could be. Yeah, people were more expecting like just a fun monster movie, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna actually have to think now.
Yeah, and they're like, this is sad. They're like, when has a photographer ever had this much work? It doesn't make sense. It's like, how is he thrown together?
It was that 80s boom of photography jobs.
Picture boom. Yes. Yeah. I think this movie could honestly, I see this either being like a show now, like C.H.U.D could be recreated into some sort of like mini series.
It could definitely be a good remake as a mini series. I would agree with that.
Get the Stranger Things kids. Like put them in the prosthetics, maybe a school field trip. They all got bit and now it's like these fucking crazy underground kids, and like the Chuds go to raves, like they're still like within society. Cause like when you're at a rave, you're so fucked up. You don't know what you're looking at. So they kind of like fit in that way. And so it's like more of a raver.
Have you ever been so like zonked out at a rave that you wouldn't notice a chud though?
Yeah, I mean, like, if you look at a movie, speaking of Home Alone, Party Monsters, right? With
Oh
Macaulay
yeah, the other
Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin movie with
Oh, yeah.
Seth Green.
It's like,
That's a great
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
I've
they're
never
all
seen it. I
dancing.
just know that about it.
I have seen it.
It's a great movie, and just picture it, like picture it, Joe, like Macaulay and Seth are, they're dancing around. You look over and like a chud's like chewing on an arm, and you're so fucked up.
It's just part of the background at that point.
Yeah, it's part of the background. You're just like, fuck yeah, glow sticks. Yeah, why is that guy chewing on a foot? Right? It's
And great
like,
connection because their blood is glow sticks.
I mean, listen, man.
I think this writes itself.
I think we figured it out. I think we figured out the remake. We get Macaulay back in. We're like, we know this launched, and we know this is how you discovered, key pieces for the Home Alone franchise, being the dad and the secondary burglar. Right?
You were giving
like,
a lot of credit to a young Macaulay Culkin.
This is how you discovered them, so it's like, why? This is how you resurrect them now. Is you and Seth Green, right? Like a Molly monster movie where it's like you're partying with chuds and you don't really come around to it till later.
Is there a big demand for a John Hurt and Daniel Stern like resurgence? Is there a big need for that right now?
There might be after this podcast.
There might be after this podcast, but it's like I just can't even picture how many smiles it would put on people's faces.
I'm gonna guess like five smiles max.
Finally, Daniel Stern, who's had a turbulent career in show business at best, gets his comeuppance by coming back as one of the party rave monsters that eventually eats Seth Green whole.
Yeah, I guess that's a happy ending in Hollywood, being able to eat Seth Green whole.
I think it would do well on like Shudder. I think that movie could find a place on Shudder where it builds a bit of a following.
I have to say, I would never, ever have thought that we'd come out of this crossing over Chud with Party Monster.
Well, I mean,
you never thought that would happen? Not even a little bit?
Never thought that would happen.
Joe, you'll be editing this later, and you'll be like, was Mike Lester a terrible guest that didn't really add anything to the conversation, or did Mike Lester kind of make me think about things differently? And I just hope you think more of the second way, because, I'm sensitive.
I mean, the crossover is any indication. Like, that's huge. Like, I'm thinking about all sorts of new things now with this crossover. So thank you for that.
I mean, Chud, just like, they're raving, maybe it's like Chud is TikTok influencers, like the Chuds are like TikToking and like they have like a meeting with a commercial agent and they're like, I like you. I like your eyes. No one's got eyes like you right now, man. They just like, they fucking glow and your skin is like always moist. It's like, I never have to worry about you having dry skin. You're just fucking, you're slick, dude. You're slick. Like if
as
I'm
someone who works in production, the amount of times I've looked at an actor or an actress and gone, man, I wish they were more moist.
Yeah, it's like, dog, no one is more lubed up than you. And I hope too, it's like, if this does become a thing and we write it and like we get the right producers behind it and launch it, maybe I could play an agent. I don't know. Like my career could use a little revamp, I would say, at some point. But it's like, yeah, it's like if I'm looking across the table at a Chud and I'm thinking, who's the new face of the Best Buy Christmas campaign? It's not Adam Devine. It's this Chud.
Those are the options?
It's Adam Devine or the Chud, dude.
Honestly, that makes sense. I can believe it somehow.
Listen, Matt, it's like, I've been in the orbit of the biz. I know what people are looking for, and they're looking for moist skin, big glowing eyes, and, a hunger that can't be, fed, right? Of desire. But it's also cannibalism.
You're like 95% on your way to making any kind of point right now. I believe in you.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like you can edit this later and be like, man, he almost, you have some guests that's like, they made no points, but think of how many points I almost made.
That's true. You've got all of our guests that made no points. like you've got them beat by at least most of a point.
Yeah, and Khalid, I know like throughout this, you're like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. But maybe listening back when you have to like kind of tediously edit all the things I say out of this, you'll be like, man, maybe that does make sense.
Thankfully, Joe edits these, so I don't ever have to listen to this discussion if I don't want to.
I mean, I would say we should do a follow-up podcast where we review this one.
We review the review of a movie we just discussed.
I mean, why not? You guys want to branch out to Patreon? Like,
that's our Patreon, is just the show commenting on the show. I would never ask anyone to pay for that.
This is your launch. $7 a month. We'll review what any past episode you want.
All right, Joe, let's get on that.
All right. Speaking of getting on things, Khalid, bears tend to do that.
That was a gross one.
4 bears test.
Okay. Yeah. The 4 bears test. First time hearing about this. It's basically, what if I replace the monster we're talking about with 4 bears? Does the story still work or not?
Yeah.
Are you saying yes? You saying this is a pass?
If you replace each C.H.U.D with 4 bears, to me it makes it scarier.
It makes it scarier, but does it make it the same story? Like, could you do the same stuff?
I mean, I don't fucking know. You know, you got that one guy that was like bagging groceries that slowly becomes a bear then it's like the photographer's probably not going to shoot him because he's like, bud, you're just looking hairier. Like, did you lose like your state appointed assistant? Like, were you left unattended and you're just like extra hairy?
I did actually have like a whole like rationale mapped out, but I think I'm just gonna go with Mike's rationale.
I mean, if I go into a sewer,
I guess it passes if you don't worry about the photographer's livelihood. So yeah, me and Mike are on the same page. It's a pass for the 4 bears test. What do you think, Joe?
I think it's a pass. I actually did not think about this at all, but I agree with you.
I feel like the photographers
they're strong. They're pretty strong monsters. I guess they are kind of easy to kill, which 4 bears kind of by definition are not. That's probably the one pushback I can think of.
4 bears to 1 C.H.U.D is tough. But I think like the damage that say all the C.H.U.Ds, so like what are they, like 6 C.H.U.Ds? So that would be what's 4 times 6, like 24 bears would probably do similar damage though, right?
To 6 C.H.U.Ds?
Yeah.
That's too many bears, I think.
Well, like, look what they did to the diner.
Yeah.
That's true. They did wreck that diner. And how many C.H.U.Ds were there?
I don't know, like 6.
So 4 bears per C.H.U.D. in that sense, yes, you're right. This is a very clear pass.
Yeah.
Think of how differently that photographer's career would have gone too. If you go down into that sewer, right? You're following one of the wet bandits, and you go down into that sewer, and it's all bears. It's like you got your pick of any publication as far as being a professional photographer the rest of your life.
Any publication. There are a lot of publications that don't have to do with breaking news or bears in sewers.
Penthouse.
You think Good Housekeeping is like, let me get those centerfold pictures.
Oprah's magazine. Rolling Stone.
They're all clamoring for these bears and sewer pics.
GQ. You know,
GQ wants bears and sewers.
Sure, in a centerfold, you know, get those bears out, you know, clean them up a little bit.
Okay.
Oh. Speaking of centerfolds, Khalid, would you fight or would you flirt the C.H.U.Ds? That was a great transition. I had to take it. Sorry.
No, yeah, it was a decent transition. You really fought for it, but you got it.
Yeah, I'm good at transitions.
Sure, that's one. What's one take?
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I like that transition, and I'll answer it first. Of course, I would flirt with the C.H.U.D. You know, like everyone deserves to feel good about themselves. Everyone deserves to have, you know, a little attention paid.
As a means of survival, though, do you think you could flirt your way to survival versus fighting your way? Like,
I've been doing it my whole life.
Literally every time you're faced with a threat, you choose to.
I flirt my way out of it. I flirt my way out of it every day of my life. It's not fight or flight, it's flirt. Okay? That's the
Face
FI
life or
pick.
death situations every day.
That's the FI pick. I'm dangling from a cliff. I'm flirting with my hand to pull me up.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm flirting with my muscles to summon the strength to pull me up.
I feel like that's not the word for whatever that would be.
Yeah,
But
I think
whatever helped you get
do.
to survival, I guess. Yeah. So you would flirt with it. Apparently because that's the only tactic you will ever consider or entertain. But personally, I would fight it because they've provided I could get a gun. Provided I could get a gun
that's
as easily
as that's not fighting it. If you just shoot it in the head, that's not fighting it. That's taking the photographer's route. You have to maybe, talk
I would either fight
bit.
it. I would either fight it or I would like gas it or light it on fire. All the options that were presented in the movie, which seem incredibly effective. I don't know. There's options, is what I'm saying.
You maybe find a booth and you sit down by it. You sit on the same side of the booth and you're like, so what's in the water down here? Like, how'd you get this restaurant booth down here? What do you like? Right? Like, what do you do? What exactly do you do down here? And what makes this water so dirty? And it starts like
sewer water? Do you not know? You needed the C.H.U.D to explain to you why sewer water is dirty?
Well, come on, Khalid. You can't be insulting and be like, it's dirty fucking water. Yeah, what are in these little puddles? Right? And its eyes start glowing pink because it likes you. I assume their temperament is determined through the glow of their eyes.
So they're always angry, which is yellow.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got a fucking photographer down there, flashing the bulbs, taking your picture without asking. Go try doing that in Pennsylvania at an Amish settlement.
Are you calling the Amish like the closest equivalency to chuds?
I'm just saying, go to an Amish community.
Somewhere out there's an Amish person with Beats headphones on right now listening to this podcast, and they are offended.
And I look forward to continuing the discussion on my Twitter at JustMikeLester.
You better believe that Amish person tweets. You are going to get.
You have access if you are currently on Rumspringa and you're looking for, someone to talk to about the real world. Someone that picks the third F rather than fight or flight. I'm your guy.
Yeah, for that very specific subsection of people that listen to this podcast, but are also all of those other things
that are Amish and lonely and on Rumspringa.
You have that as an alternative plan.
It's all. I wouldn't even say it's an alternative plan, Khalid. I would say it's the plan.
Yeah, that's true. I'm taking all other plans off the table. That's your only option.
Take it. Take them all off the table, dude.
Yeah. Okay. So to make a long segue short, I would fight it. Mike would flirt it.
Before we close out, I wanted to ask Khalid. I think I mentioned this to you the other day. This is like now back to the movie, I guess. Did you catch the parallels to Jordan Peele's Us?
I did. Yes. It's actually pretty cool that because you were saying that Jordan Peele was inspired a lot by this movie when he was writing.
I guess I haven't heard much about what he said, but I know like there's a VHS copy of C.H.U.D in like the opening scene of Us. Yeah. So
yeah, when it's the Hands Across America video playing at the beginning, there's a C.H.U.D tape there, and I guess I don't know how much of an influence it played on him, but you can tell a lot of it was that, and it's an interesting way that he like interconnected it because like a part of it is with the movie Us is the idea of the marginalized taking their power back, and the C.H.U.Ds more than anybody are just marginalized like subterranean homeless people that were abused by our government. And with Us, the idea is these subterranean people that were I guess if you take the character in Us's word for it, we're also abused by the government. But even more than that, it's interesting to me that like the first victim of the tethered in Us that we see is a homeless man. I don't
Yeah.
think that was an accident when I watched Chud. I think it's actually like a very pointed reference, which is really cool.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought like having seen Us almost before seeing Chud was kind of an interesting way, like lens to look at it. Because I went into it knowing that there was that influence there. So I was like, oh, let's see the connection. So I agree with you, Khalid. All right, folks, it's our last segment. It's the What the Fandom. What the Fandom, Mike, since you are new to this, is just what are you into right now? Like instead of the geek card in the beginning is like your life passion. Just like what is your like quick right now passion? What are you into? So Khalid, go.
My What the Fandom is this new, it's not new, it's from 2017, and then I think he had another one in 2018, but he makes instrumental music, and this one is like themed around Wu-Tang's Enter the 37th Chamber, and it's dope. It's by the Al Michaels Affair, and he takes all of the songs off of that album and kind of does like an instrumental reimagining of it, and it's sick. Time.
Sweet. All right, good rec. Mike, What the Fandom?
I'm into this new HBO show that's produced by Nathan Fielder, and I forget the name of it, but it's basically just like one guy with a camera that they're like tutorial episodes, and it's like 2 episodes in, and it's just, I'm sorry I don't remember the name of it, but it's incredible. It's like it kind of reminds me of the Joe Pera show on Adult Swim, but it's a lot more like bare bones.
All right, so it's a Nathan Fielder produced HBO show?
Yes.
Cool. I'll have to check that out.
Let me look it up while you talk about yours.
My fandom? Okay. My fandom, real quick, I'd say what I'm really into right now. I'm reading the second book in a series I read. It's the Hyperion Cantos. The first one's just called Hyperion. The second one's Fall of Hyperion from Dan Simmons, who I've heard is actually a terrible person in real life, so don't support him. Buy the book secondhand. But it's a really cool book. There's a weird monster creature called the Shrike in it, and it's some really cool philosophical themes in it. I'm really digging it. It's dense, but it's good. Back to you, Mike. Got the name?
The show is How To with John Wilson, and it's literally just this like kind of the same dry humor that Nathan Fielder delivers, but it's just a guy and his camera, and he's just like single-handedly making these episodes, and I feel like they are like the forefront of like my favorite comedy stuff this year.
Cool. All right.
Incredible.
Good rec.
How To with John Wilson.
Good Rex team. All right. So to close out again, thank you, Mike, for joining us. Super fun to have you. You were an unconventional guest, but an unconventional guest in a great way.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Good.
So listeners, please, what is it? Like our 5-star us. Give us 5 stars because we like that. We only have a few 5-star ratings, and Mike, it's customary for every guest to give us a 5-star rating too. So that's what you do.
I will get right on that. And while you're at that, Frank and friends, you can go become a Mana Pamper and give I Love You Mana 5 stars.
Yes.
I would suggest just giving that podcast 5 stars, and you don't have to listen to it, but send a link to your parents, that or JRE, see what they think. I feel like either of those are good intro podcasts.
I love it. We'll give those 5 stars too. Frank and Friends is pretty cool. Friendensteins is what we are actually, but I like Frank and Friends. Maybe we have like 2 sects of fans, and they could be. I don't know.
I will be the first. I'll be the first Frank and Friend.
All right, I like it. All right, Khalid. What are we doing next?
Next time we're going to do the Edgar Wright classic, Shaun of the Dead. We doing zombies, y'all.
Cool.
Okay, cool. Thank you guys for listening, and as always, creep it easy.